Are you ready to party? Let's go.
Welcome back to the podcast. We have myself, Tim Fisher, Sam Komalafe, Daniel Cravat, and Jordan Gimiola, the man with the plan.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Blessed.
Anxious.
How are you doing?
Anxious.
Good.
Doing good.
Don't be anxious. This is going to be good. We're going to talk about the California recall of the governor.
That's why I'm so anxious.
What's happening
Yeah.
today?
Which is happening today. Yes,
Today's
go
the
ahead.
last day. The votes are going to be in tonight. I think at 8 o'clock the polls are supposed to close. So we should be getting a update on whether the recall is going to go through, and if it does, who it's going to be for.
You know what? I think those results are probably in right now. Why don't we start the podcast off and see who won?
It's a good idea.
So
I mean, do I feel it? I feel like I
Hold
already
on. Let's take some bets. Who thinks that Larry Elder got in?
No.
Sam.
I doubt it, but I doubt
I
it.
think he legitimately did. Like he really did. But I don't think it was the voting was done truthfully, especially for the experience that I had trying to vote. So
Oh, we got to hear about that.
We're going to talk about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but I doubt he got
Jordan,
enough.
what is your... Well, you already saw it. I don't think that Elder won.
Okay, so what I saw was, it says, again, it's like clickbait stuff. They're like, live election results good right now. And then the first
so
thing
20 nexus later.
Well, so what it said should Gavin Newsom be recalled? And the polls for this one, where this is through LA Times, said 66.8% of the votes currently, I guess, are saying no, keep him. And
Okay, but where are those how do we know those polls are truthful, right?
well, that,
Exactly.
Well,
Is
that's
Or are they talking to all... I don't know. I'm just saying, how do they get those polls? I always want to know that.
Well, I was trying to, because I always look for the fine print, because most of the time when they show a poll, they'll tell you out of the amount of people that it's at. So it's like, yeah, they're like, oh, so 60, when they do like the presidential election or
Okay.
the presidential
know
like
that.
approval rating, it'll be like, oh, like for example, Biden's at like 39%, which is like one of the lowest ones in a long, long, long time. But the poll setting is out of like 1,200 people. You know what I mean? So it's like they do, or like you have to read the fine print a lot of times at the bottom of the polls. Otherwise, you might be getting information that's like, okay, well, is it 1,200 people in an area that doesn't like them? You know what I mean? Or is it 1,200 people in an area that super supports them? I mean, you can make the argument all day, right? Like what's right, what's wrong? I don't know. Which I also don't believe most of the things that I read anymore, it seems like. So I don't know. But according to the LA Times, it says as of right now, that's the poll that they had done, which looks like it's done with about 8 million people.
Oh, wow.
How many people are in the state of California?
Oh, I just heard this.
It's
Actually, look. Let me look at
substantial.
because I had notes on that. So I know California is at least 100 million, right? Oh, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. I have my numbers wrong right here because I have notes for what we future might talk about like in the next 10 minutes. Okay, I'm sorry. Scratch that. I wrote down the wrong numbers for a different topic, and I thought it was for that topic. Never mind.
I think... someone look that up real fast. How many people are in California? Who's got their phone out?
Oh, I guess I can.
Danielle was just on her phone.
I think I put black people. That's like a
Oh
specific, like something for something
What are you
else.
searching?
It was for it was pretty much for a testing thing.
How many of them are in the state? We need to find out. We need to put a number.
How many black people are in California?
Like, I don't know. I don't know that answer.
Anyways, I know that it's a pretty high number.
39.5 million
in California.
Yes. And so I think I meant to say 100 of that was black people. At least 100. Wait, no,
100 what?
million.
100 million of 39 million?
100 million
I'm
black
sorry.
people in the state of
I'm
California?
sorry, that whiskey hit me real fast. I haven't eaten.
What in the hell are you talking about?
I was running in here writing notes on my phone real quick for something to state later. But
So how many people are in California?
That one said 39.5.
39 million.
39 million people are in California.
God, I feel like such an idiot all of a sudden.
I thought the city of Los Angeles is 8 million.
That's a good, exactly. I feel like that's
right. It was right around there. So there might be.
So maybe
100
that's
million
where
people in
my-
California. I don't know.
Shit ton just in LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just an update real quick. So the last one was LA Times. This one, Fox News put out, and it's the same poll. So this might actually not just be a poll. This might be currently what's being submitted right now.
Okay.
So it's showing here, it's saying that 66.83% is saying no on the recall, and they have 5.5 million votes. 33% saying yes with 2.7 million votes. So it sounds like if there's 100 million people in the state of California, then they're still early on in the counting.
No, that was like a specific race that I had down because I was going to make a point between.
Okay,
If we started talking about the vaccines, that's what that was.
So we could put it out there so
That's
everyone
what
knows.
those numbers are.
There's not 100 million people in California.
Right.
There's not 100 million people.
Clearly.
I don't want any misinformation or something coming back. No, there's not 100 million people in California.
And they still have, 30 days to finish the counting. So, or not 30 days. They have,
God, we're all fucked up.
like,
tonight.
what was it? Like a week or something because they have the ballots that are coming in and then just to finish through the night.
I wonder how long it is, actually.
Yeah, I thought it was at least
Jordan is usually an expert when it comes to
random knowledge.
political.
What?
Yeah.
Both.
Wow.
What you
Okay.
got, babe?
Well, no pressure. And it's 39.5 million people in the state of California.
So yeah, you were right.
That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't know how to
stop on
throw in that
because
12
320 million are in in all United States.
Okay.
I think 320. I thought that was the right one. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You know, you
420
said-
sounds better, but whatever.
Well, shout out. No,
How many black people, Denny?
100 million.
Give me a solid look.
392. Yeah.
All right. So
Oh,
going back to where we were starting here. So it sounds like that's the current what's being registered as far as votes at the moment. So if there's 39.5 million and they're at about 7 counted for at the moment. So going back to what you said, now tinfoil hat, you know what I mean? As far as can we trust it? Is all that stuff?
Absolutely not.
But I will say this is I feel like it doesn't matter. Any situation, it's always going to have a little bit of this, right?
Yeah.
Now, in this last election, I feel like there was a lot of bit of this, but nothing's changed. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens from there. But with this one, I saw on the news the other day, it was on KTLA, it was on Channel 5. They were interviewing people that were going in to the polling booth because they wanted to actually vote in person, not just submit their ballot. And there was 20 people just for that one booth that said that when they went to scan their cards so they can go, it said to go vote. It said they had already voted.
Oh, I heard about that.
Oh my God.
Now that's so. You hear a lot about that, or there was a lot of stuff because obviously with this last election there was a ton of things coming out, right? Of potential fraud or not, or whether it's true, whether it's not, that's irrelevant per this topic. This is specifically a local news station is covering it, which I thought was kind of crazy. I'm like, oh wow, this is actually on TV. They're doing spots, and the lady's just yeah, I went in and they said that I already voted. And they went to the next person. They're like, yeah, I went in and they said they already voted. Now, what was interesting was that each person that had gone in happened to be a Republican, so whatever that means. But just as far as already having your vote done, it's dude, when are they going to iron this shit out? When are they going to figure out hey, let's set up a way that's secure and a way that your vote for you, the one thing that we have as American citizens that's supposed to be special from everywhere else in the world is that your vote counts, whoever it's for, right? So, I hope that we don't run into something crazy, but I don't know, it kind of has a weird feel to it. in my opinion.
Yeah. When I went in to vote, there was issues.
Really?
Yes.
When did you go in?
Very similar.
Today?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday. I went in, me and my mom went with each other, and I even took my mail-in ballot that they mail you. And granted, it has my mom's address, so it doesn't have my actual home address. And when I went, he was asking me questions, and at first I was thinking like, oh crap, like is he going to say something about like the address or something like that? Because I am really bad at changing addresses and stuff. My driver's license still has my mom address, but anyways, first they said, "Oh, you already voted," so the same exact thing.
No way.
Yes.
It happened to you.
Yes. I gave this man the like if looks can kill look, and I said no. And this is another chance where I pulled a Karen card. And I was like, no. And I was very stern. And then he was like, oh, like tried to make, was very much like, oh, wait a minute. Well, what's your, like asked for everything again. And then I don't know why, but I stupidly was like, oh, well, my address is this. And then tried to play like I just moved because I was like, crap, are they going to try to pull something else, with that? But then, like I said, I literally looked at this man like, you are not going to take this away from me, whatever.
He didn't like ask you, or he didn't tell you, or say, was there a particular, or like a date that you
No.
voted? He just said, it's, you voted.
And the same thing, well, like, who did I vote for? Because I have my ballot right here and it's not even opened yet.
No.
They mailed it to me. So
Right.
how can you tell me that?
Proof.
And the moment my voice reaches a tone, I don't know, people just shit in their pants or something. I don't know. But he very much made it sound like, oh, I'm sorry, I put in the wrong whatever.
Wait a minute. So then you were allowed to vote?
Yeah, I did vote.
What the fuck? Okay. So it almost sounds like the person who was checking you in kind of had control of who.
Possibly. Wow. I don't know.
Wow.
But
And this isn't tinfoil hat stuff. This happened to you.
This literally happened to me. And then this morning, one of my cousins was just nonchalantly texting me about random stuff and then also set a reminder like, don't forget to vote. And I was like, oh no, I went yesterday. And kind of told, she's like, oh my gosh, something happened to me too. And she lives near Universal Studios. And she said that when she went, they were telling her she wasn't registered.
This is crazy because it's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not just in, a particular city.
And she's, given my age, she's about 37. She said she's been registered since she was 18 and she's never had a problem voting.
So I would take it, is she conservative?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
So what I would like to know is this happening to people who are not conservatives?
But are you registered though? And is she registered as a conservative?
She is.
Or a Republican?
She is. I honestly can't remember. I want to say I am, but I honestly can't remember because to be honest with you, this last election was the first time I ever cared to vote. Ever cared to vote.
So I think that when it gets to party, that's when it's tinfoil hat stuff. But
What do you mean to party?
like when you start dwindling it down to party, like
okay, yeah, I got you.
you like over at on TV at KTLA when they were like, oh well, everybody in line after whatever era that was just happened to be Republican. That's pretty crazy. I mean, if you can prove that,
Right, that's why I'm trying to my thing is okay. So we they put something out to ask how many people who went to vote already had their vote cast. How many are you Republican? How many are Democrat? I so far have yet to hear any Democrat. That's why I want to know, okay, who is this happening to anyone else besides conservatives?
Right, and that's a great question. But I will say that so far, and I haven't been doing a ton of research on this, but as far as paying attention, because that's a great question. Because it's okay, well, if it's only affecting one political party followership, then I would say that's kind of weird. It's a weird coincidence to say the least.
Right.
Not saying that it isn't with random, and maybe this is it, but I do find it interesting that typically the local news channels don't pick up on stuff like that. And if they don't, they tend to, they do tend to be in the middle, but I would say they'd be middle left. Right. As far as political stance goes. So not overtly pushing one way or another, but I would think for them, they would be they'd be highlighting everyone who would be coming forward with this. So it wouldn't just be they happen to be Republican people voting, or no, it's look, we got Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, all this, probably no party people. That it's happening to everybody, which I think they would want that to be the story, because this pushes that narrative of see, they're cheating. Right. You know what I mean? Because, it's okay, if we go the tinfoil hat route, it's well, when
It
the
would be
recall,
different if it was Fox, in other words.
well, 100%, right?
Yeah.
If it's Fox or Newsmax or one of these other like super conservative media sources saying it, then it's like, okay, well, of course, you would almost anticipate them saying something like that, right? Which would make more sense. But in this case, it's like, okay, you had a local news channel did it. It tends to follow a certain trait here. But then when you do break the whole thing down, you're kind of like, okay, well, if you follow the timeline of how this recall came out, recall looks like it's going good, right? Finally, it's going to hit they got the signatures to get it to hit the ballot.
Just seems a little worried.
Well, as soon as that happened, though, what the big push from the state was that, hey, because this coincides with the uptick of the Delta variant and COVID and all that stuff. And again, this sounds, it sounds like a conspiracy. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not saying it's true or not, but it's like, well, if you really want to put the pieces together, it's a great time to do it. But then you just push the mail-in ballots again. You kind of muddy those waters a little bit. So it's like you can kind of, if there is a time to manipulate anything, that would be the time to do it. So when you're now having large amounts of people coming forward saying, hey, I actually went in to vote in person, and it's saying that I'm already voted, you don't hear them going, oh, no problem. Like your scenario, you actually got to vote.
Yeah,
but these people,
I wasn't
they just
gonna leave.
left, and it's like,
well, how many people are going to fight it,
And again, if we're talking about, no, actually, I don't even want to say that. I was going to say if we're talking about 50 people, how much is 50 people? That's bullshit. I actually don't agree with what I was just going to say. It doesn't matter who you're voting for. It doesn't matter what party you're voting for. Your vote is your vote, period. That's it, Yeah. I mean, the other side of that is before I came here tonight, my wife dropped off her ballot, and I went with her, and she walked in, and she went in and dropped off her ballot. She didn't vote there, but she goes, they didn't even ask for my ID.
Same. They didn't even ask for mine either.
And I was like, well, why didn't you tell them to? You know what I mean? Like, I haven't I actually mailed in my vote this time because I'm kind of along the lines that like what I say doesn't matter anyway.
Well, look
Yeah.
where we live.
Agreed.
Well, not even that. I just feel like I'm not saying that I believe that there's like a complete conspiracy, thing with what happened with the election. I just felt like, you know what? At the end of the day, I don't trust the system in general, And until we can like really figure some stuff out, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't matter. So I'm like, if I'm going to mail it, yeah, I'll fill it out and mail it back in. But I was almost curious to see like, because this happened on the last general election with the president, was I had turned my ballot in and I had gone online because you can follow like when your stuff is
I
submitted.
didn't know that.
Yeah. And it was submitted 2 days before the day I had turned it in.
Can't make
Wow.
this shit up.
Yeah.
You can't make this
So-
fucking shit up, dude.
And again, if anyone out there wants to challenge me on that, I took a screenshot and everything. I was like, this is bullshit. And then it's like, okay, whatever.
Wow.
And there was a lot of stories of like, but again, this is like anecdotal evidence, right? It's not saying that there was some,
There's like actual
investigation and
video footage of people, like tampering with ballots, numerous ones. And it's like, if this would have been at the last election, they were already trying to do that one and they didn't really find anything. After 4 years, still didn't find anything. This is actual proof right here. Like, unless everybody's photoshopping all these videos, who knows? Very possibility. But it's just pretty ironic. And the fact that, I know Newsom's sweating because I think they ended up getting rid of a lot of the controversial bills that they were going to pass because of the election. So they're waiting until after the election and they're going to bring them all back. That was including that one bill that was trying to be hidden in the travelers bill.
Which is? Yeah.
Oh, we discussed it. Oh, it was about, it was pretty much like kind of about all like in other words, if you're not vaccinated, the only places you can really go into is a grocery store or a church.
So not leave the state is not even,
I guess if you drive.
How the fuck can they even do that?
And they were trying to hide it in a traveler's bill.
Isn't that unconstitutional?
I think a lot of things they're doing are.
we're going to find out a lot about that here in the next month or so with I mean, I guess we could talk about it. There's nothing. It's all public. There's nothing hiding it. But the push for the state to do mandates with, basically with any kind of government entity, and from the federal. I mean, last week when Biden made this speech talking about how any businesses over 100 employees make it mandatory that everyone is vaccinated, that they're an employee, right? And what they're not talking about is if you're one of those employees and you say, no, I'm not, like basically fire me, that they may not make it available to you for unemployment because you're going against like a health violation, basically.
Such fucking bullshit.
So we're going to see the ramifications of that in the next, well, I mean, look, LA County, I know that they're public, how do I say this? Let's say they're first responders.
Okay.
Right? That they are supposed to be vaccinated by, is it October 31st? Or they have basically, like, I saw something on the news today. They were talking about, they're like, all LA County employees, basically first responders, are kind of signifying, has to be vaccinated within this week. Otherwise, they won't be able to time out that second shot and won't be able to be on the floor as a fully vaccinated employee.
My mom had to go through that.
I just feel like
Yeah.
there's a big lawsuits that are going to happen. Massive.
There's already some going on right now.
But
actually.
okay, are they going to win though?
I don't know this one that I'm talking about. I could send you guys the information afterwards, and there's also a QR code for people who are being rejected. I've actually had to give my own doctor's information to two of my clients just this last week because one of them, her parents have COVID now, and they're elderly, and their doctor will not see them because of they're not vaccinated. Now her father has a high reaction to vaccines, which is why he's not taking it. My son has the same situation, which is why I'm very much like, you touch my child, something's gonna happen.
I'm a bear. Fuck
yes, I will.
I respect that.
So let me.
But yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But in other words, again, like now doctors are refusing to treat you or using an excuse to not treat you. Along with, I know a lot of healthcare members in my family, along with friends. And then with the job that I do, I know a lot, anywhere from like surgical inventors all the way to just your basic primary care. And I've heard from a lot of them, like they're seeing this quite often. Nobody's really counting the numbers. And
So how do the doctors and the nurses and all the healthcare, people in your family feel about other healthcare people rejecting?
I honestly only have one of them's not really saying much because I don't know, maybe she's just like, I just don't want to bring it up. Another one, only one out of probably the 20 healthcare family members I have.
20?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, in my family, you're in the military or you're in healthcare.
Right.
I'm a dog groomer, but whatever. I'm the black sheep. Anyways,
Amen to the black sheep.
so this one family member is probably one of the only people who doesn't side with pretty much what I think. But no offense to them, they're more married into my family, and I think they benefit from it. So,
Shit.
yeah. So I'm kind of disappointed a little bit, and from what I've heard, and that was that. All the other healthcare family members that I know are in my family, I mean, I've had 2 ultrasound techs tell me that they're seeing a huge spike in miscarriages, and it's almost pretty consistent with the amount of time after the second vaccine is
I know
given.
2 people that were trying very hard to have children, and they conceived. They're in the first trimester. They got the vaccine and lost the child.
Yep. I've had.
I was just oh my God.
So that is super interesting because so these stories, right? Because that's something that doesn't get talked about. What you're saying doesn't get talked about. Mm-hmm. If you go on, there are studies out there that you can find that are like, I guess like NIH backed, right? So like it has like the clout to it, but they're saying that like the miscarriage rate doesn't change. It's basically at 33%. Is what the miscarriage rate is at already in general, and then whether the vaccine influences it or not. So these studies, right, that are official supposedly, are saying that it doesn't do anything different, but then you hear this stuff, right? So it's like there's this, and I think that's a big problem with everything is that, it's like, well, when you go to the CDC to find out information, right? Because you're supposed to trust that source. You know, you hear one thing, and then with other people, or you just talking about it or running into people, and then all of a sudden you hear these like crazy scenarios where it's like, you're like, oh my God, that seems more than just being like chance.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, where is the actual truth?
I know. I have 2 close friends who do not know each other. And both of them have said that they overhear colleagues say, I don't want to say let someone die, but I want to say highly neglect a patient if they find out they're not vaccinated and say, well, they should have gotten it.
That is so messed up.
Yes.
I mean, how have we gotten to a point in this country where
my own mother's confirmed that she's heard this talk as well.
that's insane to me.
And she works at Kaiser.
It's absolutely insane. Oh my God, dude. I'm about to go off on a rant here, and I'm trying to be really careful with what I say, but we're hitting a point where there's going to be no fucking return. Once you give something up and freedom, and we know this from our career in dealing with unions and your rights and your work conditions, once you give something up, you'll never get it back. No. There is no fucking getting it back. And the politicians and the people, the leaders, they can say what they want. Yeah. Well, 5 years to give it back to you. That 5 years will come. They'll be like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Whatever do you mean?
And so many people are willing to just...
That's what scares me.
It does.
If you're willing to give up freedom for some comfort or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, you're a Christian, you worship Satan, whatever. Good is good and bad is bad. If a Republican's in office fucking up, we're going to call it out. I think it's what we do here on this podcast. And there's a lot of things that Trump did. I think he's fucking nuts sometimes. They should have taken away his Twitter account.
I couldn't stand
his
him.
Phone away. But you know what? There's a lot of things that he did good that no one talks about. Right.
Yeah.
He boosted the economy. In the African American community, unemployment rate was at the lowest it's probably been in 10 plus years?
Of course.
And he did something for the black community. Whereas, I hate to say this, but in the Democratic world, the politicians, they'll use the black community and say, oh, we're going to go in our inner cities. And then once they're in, not shit gets done. Look at Chicago. The fucking death rate in Chicago.
Insane.
And the kids that are getting shot and killed. It's fucking incredible. Baltimore, Maryland. I wish I had the stats in front of me. Because in these main cities where a Democratic run, it's just the truth. That's all we're putting out here is the truth. It's fucking terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So I just don't. Where we're at right now is kind of an unprecedented time because it's like you were cresting this peak, and once we go over the other side, like there's no coming back.
I want to throw something in here. You said something that made me think of it. I was like, who was it? It was like a founding father or whatever. It was Ben Franklin who said it. It says, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase little temporary safety don't deserve neither liberty nor safety.
My guy.
And not saying...
Very good.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
When you said it, I was like, it's so...
Like he did.
I felt holy for a second.
But how can someone at that time, like, really, like, that's what's so crazy about, like, the Constitution and stuff. And dude, I'm not saying there's a ton of flaws. But the basic premise of human rights and freedom that obviously has taken a long time to nail out, but just the premise of being able to do that with like a historical document that's the founding of like how this country is supposed to push forward. It's like, dude, they're pretty intelligent cats. You know what I mean? Like just like even at the time, like it all translates through time. Right. And we're in that time period right now where we're doing exactly that. We're giving up our freedoms because we think they want to give us some temporary safety, whether that be the vaccines, whether that be the stay-at-home orders, and now they're going to do the mandatory vaccination stuff so you might lose your job because you don't agree with that. It's like, okay, we can break down and say, hey, what happened to my body, my choice, right? What happened to this? What happened to this? It's like all that shit is out the window.
I was going to say that.
And you have the president of the United States basically threatening the population of the United that if you don't comply, then, you just get ready. Just get ready. It's like, okay, look, I get sometimes things need to happen, and sometimes they're not going to make people happy. I totally understand that. But I feel like this is crossing the line. We are jumping into uncharted waters, which is like what Tim we were talking about as far as if we're willing to give up these I mean, shit, at this point, it is your civil liberty to choose what you want to inject yourself with or not, which sounds nuts, right?
And think about healthcare, right? All the stuff that we're talking about. I mean, a good job.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, but it's like, whatever happened to HIPAA? And you've been able to do the things that you want to do with your body, and no one's supposed to know about it.
Okay, so just so you are aware
Yes.
that if someone asks you if you're vaccinated, it's not a HIPAA violation to ask you if you're vaccinated. However, you do not by any means need to respond to that question.
That's good to know.
So if anyone asks me if I'm vaccinated, I ask them if they have AIDS.
Straight face.
Yeah.
Completely straight.
Oh, I'd be like, actually, let me ask you, do you have HIV or AIDS? I should ask for, do you have AIDS? I'm not judging you. I just want to know.
Right.
You know? And the typical response will be, what are you talking about? And I'll be like, well, can you prove that to me? Do you have any papers that show you that you have a clean bill of health, that we could be around each other? Not that AIDS is airborne, but, you know, it's just a dumb response.
I see where you're going. Point.
No.
You know, and, you know, it's crazy. But just to kind of go back to, I almost said circle back. I'm not a fan of that chick, Jen Psaki, but she uses that term all the time. And it actually is pretty relevant.
I like that. It's
when you're
hilarious.
gonna talk. But when we were talking about, you know, it's getting to the point where now you're starting to hear things about maybe healthcare workers not treating people who are unvaccinated with the same way as those who are vaccinated. At first, I would have said, you know what, that's bullshit. That's just you're hearing stuff from other people. But with all those stories that you do hear about that, what I thought was crazy is that Jimmy Kimmel the other night said it on his fucking show.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
At Jimmy Kimmel, fuck you. That's all I'm going to say. Because you know what, dude? You're some fucking elitist
I was a
motherfucker
fan.
out there, and you're going to sit there and you're going to talk trash to people who are choosing to do what they want for themselves. You don't know. It's like, look, there are going to be people who want to be vaccinated. There are going to be people who don't want to be vaccinated. There's going to be people who aren't vaccinated, that take care of themselves, that live a healthy life, that if they're sick, stay at home, don't go out, are cognizant of their own decisions that they're making. And then there's stupid people that are going to be sick and go into work and get other people sick, just like there's going to be vaccinated people who make stupid decisions, and there's ones that make great decisions. But you're taking that ability to make a decision for yourself away, and now you got people who, you know, I mean, he's like uber rich guy who is super popular and now is on television talking about if you're having a heart attack, coming into the ER and be like, oh, not vaccinated? Sorry, Wheezy, is what he said. I don't understand the Wheezy comment. I was like, does that mean it's because of the respiratory issue, you know? And it's like, you insensitive prick. You know what I mean? How dare you? And I thought, and I'm not, okay, I kind of was a fan of him for a while, and then it was like, you know, he got a little political. I'm like, I'm kind of out on that.
Once he got political, I was a little out. But not that long ago, when his son was born, I believe it was his son, his youngest child had to be rushed into surgery.
Yes.
And he was, you know, praising their glories, this and that, Would he vaccinate his child right now?
That's a great question.
You know?
Yeah, so the surgery they had was when they're born, there's like a small hole in between the ventricles. It's actually pretty common with real little kids, and they're good at fixing that. There's a very high success rate of having successful surgeries. I can't remember the procedure that it's called, so my apologies. But that was the situation that he was having, and he was using that platform of saying that we need like universal health care, that no one should have to be able to have to go through this scenario and not get the treatment for their baby, or brand newborn baby for that matter, right? Just a heads up, if you don't have insurance and you go into the hospital and and you have your kid in the hospital and this is what's going on, they're not going to turn you away. Just in case, if anyone's listening, you wouldn't be like, hey, we have a surgical procedure that's going to save your 1 day old kid's life. You don't have insurance, get out of here. That's not going to happen. That's not how the system works. Right. It doesn't operate that way. They have a legal code and obligation to help you in any way, shape, or form they can. Now, the payments of things, yes, that's where it gets dicey. But if we're talking about not having insurance versus having insurance and worried about not getting care, if you get into the hospital, they're going to do it.
What about the oath? Like, you guys all take oaths on that you...
I'm not a doctor, but I play on TV.
No, there's things. I mean, there are things like there's one, Jordan, right, for like the duty to act.
Yes.
If we're passing if someone is a first responder and they're passing the scene of like an accident and you're off duty, there's an act, it's called Duty to Act. You shall pull over and help them out.
But I know it is for as far as healthcare workers, as far as nurses, doctors. That is an oath you take. You don't discriminate. For instance, I did see a video of I believe this nurse was in labor and delivery or something, and she was saying, just for an example, if I have a mom, she's giving birth, she's losing all this blood, we need to do blood transfusion. If she sits there and says, no, I do not want that because it's against my religion, it's against my rights, she has that right and they will not give it to her. Now, naturally, we'll think you're crazy because don't you want to save your life? You know, you're in the middle of giving birth, but that's her right and they will give her that if that's in your birthing plan because they have you fill out stuff ahead of time as well. What's the difference with this? If this is against, what I'm tired of people doing is treating this like a cure. It's not a cure. It's just like to help you out. Me not getting the vaccine doesn't protect Tim anymore. If he gets vaccinated, he's already protected himself if it works, you know?
Yeah.
He can still get it and he can still pass it. I don't understand how people don't get that. It's not a cure. And vaccines are not a one size fits all. Some people legitimately cannot take some. I am super cautious of my youngest son because of the reactions he had from his vaccines when he was a baby.
Yeah.
And I hope to God I never have to go through some of those things again. So yeah, I will fight to where I can't no more to make sure nobody touches him with something like that. But like, I'll let somebody else go before I say something really
honestly,
bad.
in your guys' opinion though, like what, I just want to understand, why does it trigger people so much if someone's not vaccinated?
That's
all
what
I
they're
want to
taught.
I think some of it is like, okay, millions of people are dying, and then we come out with something that's supposed to help us, keep us from, dying, whatever, and it's called a vaccine. So either people keep dying or this vaccine goes out and it cures people. So it's either do nothing or the vaccine. So it's, well, if people stop dying,
Right.
then let's do the vaccine.
Okay, but how many people die from the flu shot every year?
Exactly.
But people,
see what I'm saying?
people don't, yeah, bro. But people
don't
think
put that
about
together,
today,
right?
Right. It's like what's happening today. People are dying today. We need to stop this today. So this thing comes out, and we need to, figure this
What's
out.
probably not helping the situation is the goddamn media.
Oh God, no.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just gonna ask this right. Do you guys even watch the news anymore?
No. Haven't in
me either.
2 years, pretty much.
I don't have it on my phone. Nothing.
I'm a junkie, dude. I watch it all.
Obviously.
Yeah. No, but I watch everything. But see, that's part of I guess that's part of my wind down time. Like when I'm, before I'm
Mine's
going to
90 Day
bed.
Fiance, but
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of cartoons, a lot of Rick and Morty or Family Guy, things like that. And then I just find it fascinating to read two things that are about the exact same thing, but they're 100 million% written differently. And I feel again, like everything, the truth is somewhere in the middle. It really is. Yeah. And, it's look, you can make the argument, you can look up the information, you can find enough info to back a solid stance on either end of this, especially the vaccine stuff. So it's tough, because it's look, the COVID is real. It fucks a lot of people up. It's killed a lot of people. It's dangerous. Whatever. Fill in the blank. Right? Serious. But the flip side of that is we do know statistical numbers. What's your survivability? Which age range are you in? What are the things that affect you? The comorbidities. What is it? So it's okay, well, if my chance of getting this and dying is 99.92%, right? Well, I don't know. I just felt like I was okay, well, if my odds of that are this, and then if my odds of getting the vaccine and having it impact my body in a negative way, and that percentage is maybe a little bit higher than of getting sick and then dying from this, just like with anything else, I don't have vaccines for everything. And there's a bunch of shit out there that can kill you. And I'm saying this in a very like mild, easy way. So I don't want to sound stupid. Like I can get into the scientific area of this, if this is where the conversation goes. But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, what we know is that if you're vaccinated, it does seem like you have a little bit better chance of doing better when you get COVID, right? But it doesn't do anything better as far as your transmission rate. It doesn't make the person that's around you more protected by you being vaccinated. If anything, you can make the argument that says, okay, well, now that you're vaccinated, you're probably a little bit more lax with how you've approached things, cleaning up stuff, washing your hands, all this other shit. So now you might get it and then transfer it to everybody else. So if the idea from, top to bottom government is, well, if we get everyone to take it at once, then we can pass it all amongst ourselves all the time and it doesn't matter because we all have the vaccine, right? So if that's the game plan here, I think that's a flawed one, right? Because now it's like, again, we're going into the position where we have to like force it upon each other, and it's like during this time, it's like everyone brings up polio. Well, what happened with polio? Polio was killing millions of people. Well, yeah, it was like 1 in 17 fucking people were dying from that shit. That had to have been terrifying back then. Or the Spanish flu, Spanish one, especially kids 18 to 35 were dying. There was 1.5 million died from the Spanish flu. Like in a short period of time, it was crazy. And that was right during World War I. Like it was fucked up time. So that one, I get that. I get the push on this. It's like, it doesn't seem that, and I'm not saying it's okay for anyone to pass away. And like, I have family, friends and stuff that we've lost people from it, and I'm not saying that it's good. It's fucking terrible, but now it's like, okay, well, we can agree that it's terrible, but I can also make the personal decisions to help protect myself in my life without getting a vaccine. And there's a lot of people that are in the same boat, so it's like, we really don't, I don't know where I was going with this. Honestly, it just gets me really disappointed because the worst part in all of this is that it's seriously straining relationships within families, within coworkers, within people that are just living their lives. That normally, like, it's like, look, the last thing everyone was bitching about, there was a hard thing. It's like, did you like Trump? Do you like Biden? Fuck it. It's over with. Okay, moving on. It's like, we're still dealing with this COVID thing, and this shit is like really tearing people apart.
Because like tearing states apart.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at New York. New York has the strictest fucking COVID laws and shit going down. How many businesses are probably going out of business because of that? We were talking about McSwirlies.
I like how they're not showing any of the protesting and the riots that are going on right now. Of course they're not showing that in New York, but there's a lot of that going on.
It's going around the world too,
Yeah.
actually. Australia's the worst by far.
Yeah. Oh,
that shit's crazy, dude.
And is it Switzerland? Or is it New Zealand? It's one of those?
New Zealand's locked down?
Something like
Switzerland and Denmark are completely open.
Okay, so not that one.
No mandate, no mask rule.
Well, here's the
nothing.
funny thing
think
that
it might
happened
be New
with
Zealand.
Australia. They had two high people in government, whatever you want to say. They were talking. They're trying to get an answer from them. Well, when are you going to, open your country? When are you going to let people do this, do that? And both said at two separate times, we're waiting for the one world order before we make that decision. I was like, wait, what? And you play it back. I should try and find it sent to you guys. We're waiting for the one world order before we make a decision.
Wow.
I was like, oh shit.
So, and like, that is the most like 4chan conspiracy theory, QAnon bullshit that you can have out there, was because everything is, all those things are surrounded by the creation of the one world order. Globalization, they're trying to smash everything and take over the fucking world. Like that's, so when you hear that shit, I'm like, these motherfuckers are crazy. Like that is just too much for me, That lady is like a legit, person to be on television talking
you see
about
it?
the hell. Yeah, I know
okay, so you
exactly.
know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
she
about.
goes, we won't be able to answer that question until we get a confirmation with the one world order.
Yeah.
She said it.
Nobody questioned that.
No, there wasn't even a follow-up question. They're like, thank you, have a good day. All right, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, well, I heard it.
Do they
and
know what that means?
When I heard that, I actually was like, it shocked me. I'm like, wait, this has got to be a joke, right? And then another clip was another person, I think it was another government official, right?
Oh.
In Australia, it was a male, and he said the same thing. We're waiting for the one world order or something like that.
Now, I will say this. I didn't look anything up about that because maybe they were referencing like a new wing of their government, health administration. Maybe it's called
Okay,
One
you're
World
right.
Order.
It could be. Right.
Which I hope it is, because if it's not, then what the fuck is that all about?
Right.
I don't know.
That one was shocking
that's
when I
pretty
saw it.
crazy.
I was kind of like, what the fuck is going on? But
Yeah.
I don't know. All I just say, it's interesting to see where this recall's going to go for Gavin Newsom because, of course, when everything was shut down, his winery was open. His kids were still going to school. He never followed any of the vaccination laws.
Summer camp with no masks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, look at the state of California. People are leaving California faster than they're coming in. That's like the first time in history.
Right.
I think to the point where we
Me
lost
being one of them.
Yeah, we lost the house. I can't remember what it was. Didn't we talk on her about that, Jordan? Didn't we
Lose a house seat because of the
We lost so many people.
Left?
Yeah, as per the capital, right? How
I
many
think
people?
so. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at the homeless problem.
Right.
I mean, there's so much going on in this state. We are the highest tax state in the union, and they want to take more. It's like, bro, you're gonna force more fucking people. All the major businesses are gone.
Yep.
Toyota, Nissan, Tesla.
Yep.
All of them, right?
Texas.
I mean, everyone's gone. I mean, you need to give money back to the people to live and survive. You can't tax the hell out of them and expect for them to survive. I mean, to thrive and do well.
Well, how are you going to come up with these programs that are supposed to, sponsor, homeless people and the social programs? And,
Dude,
you have to tax.
You need money, right?
You need money, bro.
Well, and what's not helping is you're holding down the economy here by keeping California somewhat shut down.
Exactly.
Open the shit up. Let people work. Let us make a decision what we think is going to be healthy for. I honestly don't give a shit if you have the vaccine or not.
Right.
I don't care. That's up to you. We're all adults. My thing I want to say, why don't you go work out? Get healthy.
Right.
Then you won't probably have these fucking problems.
Exactly.
But you know what? That takes hard work.
Yep.
That takes determination to do something, right? It's like, how come the government's not pushing being fucking healthy?
That's funny.
First,
Fauci did say that in the beginning.
In the beginning? Oh, yeah.
Very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
He, when they asked him, do you think masks will help? And he laughed at it.
Mm-hmm.
He laughed and he said, we need to focus on getting healthy, eating right. He said all those words. He hasn't repeated them since then.
That's too easy.
Exactly.
No. Yeah.
And the thing is with everything that's going on is it's going to really fuck up the middle class, which is kind of your backbone here because everybody's like, oh, let's tax the rich. Let's tax the rich. Well, you know what? The rich is already paying a good part of our taxes and they don't realize that. So, and who's the one who can afford to easily leave on a dime?
Rich.
The rich. And that's what they're doing. Maybe they still do have a home here, but all they have to do is say, my residence is here and that's it. And they get, and that's what's happening. So these people who are like, oh, we're going to, do that. They don't realize that they're fucking up themselves because they're the ones who are still going to pay the taxes.
It's fun. It's absolutely screwing the middle class.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is you're going to have, it's pretty much going to be the haves and have-nots.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be really poor people here in California soon who can't afford much because they can't leave, or the really rich. Or actually, I'm sorry, there's going to be really poor people and really rich. You're sooner or later, you're not going to have much of a middle class to rely on anymore. And I'm so sick and tired of Gavin Newsom using excuses as oh, there's a lot of misinformation out there about this and trying to make this. It's like, no, dude, you were fucking up before all this happened.
Yeah.
How long have we been talking about the homeless situation, the trash and all that? I'm sorry. When Larry Elder got attacked at Venice Beach, I think that just proved his point. Not only that, J-Lo got hassled by a man, her and Ben.
I saw that.
And I saw the picture of the dude. The dude looks like a straight up bum. This guy's not like somebody like as if, some regular person off the street. This guy's a straight up bum. He looks like he's covered in pea smell. Once again, just proving the point of how it is over there. But yet there's multi-million-dollar homes with this type of view of just trash, homelessness and all that. Do any of you guys, I'm sorry, let me ask you a few questions right here real quick. Hold on.
Shoot.
What questions do you have?
Do any of you guys know who Ron Johnson is?
Sounds like a porn star person.
Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys know that.
Heard of her. Yeah.
But you've heard of her.
Yeah.
But you don't really know much about her.
Yeah.
Okay. These are the people who he's blaming for the misconduct. Was it that Ron Johnson? He's got I don't know, very low amount of viewers compared to how many people are here in California. You really think he's affecting
No.
People, no, he's not. Because
I see what you're saying.
none of these people know who these people really are.
Right.
So stop using that as an excuse.
You're going to say whatever you can.
Exactly.
He uses those people in particular because those people are backed more strongly by the conservative class, or not class, but the conservative followership.
But even most conservatives don't even know who that is.
Yeah, but
You know what I
that's
mean?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But no, but the ones that are like kind of your more like extreme right people, especially like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Ron Johnson, but I'm assuming those three people are kind of in the same category. You know, and like to say, you know, again, right? It's politicians, right? They're pitching from the other angle. You know, again, there's probably a lot of good things that are being said, but unfortunately they kind of carry that stigma of like the extreme right with it. But he's just using that, I think, like as, you know, he's just like, look, they're going to use everything against each other. Everything's plotted against one another, and they're easy targets because they do associate with a little more of that like kind of way right stream thought process.
Yeah.
And but that's why like dude, this went from a recall to the Republican recall. I don't know if everyone's picked up on that.
Yeah.
I know plenty of Democrats that are just as pissed off.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That it was like this actually might have been one of the more bipartisan issues for the state that most people were like, yeah,
I
dude,
love
this guy
when you
fucking
say
sucks.
bipartisan.
Right.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you say it really well.
Oh, well, I'm, you know, trying to be official here.
Professionalism.
It's silly.
Yeah.
When he says silly, bipartisan,
like
there was
the
another
silly
one I can't remember. I'm like,
Oh
God,
man, when he says silly, I get goosebumps.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm working on that one. No, anyway, but damn it, I was going good,
you were doing
man.
good, bro. That bipartisan got me, man.
God damn
Yeah,
it,
what was
David.
it doesn't matter. I guess all I'm getting at is that we're in a really interesting time, and it's unfortunate because every single aspect of it turns into a political sided thing. You know, like in this, that's where I was going with the recall. It's a recall.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a while. People trying to get votes, you know, and then never once was it called, this is the Republican recall. And I'm a libertarian. Let me get that out of the way here. So when I'm speaking about the Republican Party, like I'm not saying like I'm in, you know, but I just mean like, it's like, why was it now it's a Republican recall? Why? When did that happen? Once they realized they had 3 million people sign the petition where they're like, oh shit, there's a lot of people who don't like me. You know, well, what's our angle? What do we do? Right? Well, Pelosi starts pushing it over the last weekend. Obama cut a commercial saying it's like, if you want to stop the Republican recall,
Oh, I saw that.
make sure you get out there and
I mean-
do what? You know what he didn't say? One fucking good thing about Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom's done a great job as governor. That makes total sense. You got to get out there and vote. You know,
Probably like,
vote against.
who's Newsom?
Right.
But what I'm saying is that it's like even like, you know, and like I get it. I get the angle. I understand the pitch. This is a game. It's a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's in like the shitty part is this game dictates a lot of people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. They're playing it and they play it aggressive. So I'm not surprised to hear of voter issues. I'm not surprised to hear of different things not jiving. And will be really interesting to see what the results are. In the next few
I
days.
love that he had Joe Biden come out and campaign for him in Long Beach yesterday. And I think it's just fucking hilarious because Biden's just crumbling right now with his decisions. And you could bring him over here to try and push Newsom. So over here in Long Beach, did you guys see the video?
Yeah, I did.
No.
Lining the streets. I don't know, man. I didn't see one pro-Biden supporter or Newsom holding any signs. I saw the fucking streets lined with "fuck Biden" signs.
Damn.
And people yelling and saying "fuck you." It's crazy, dude.
Damn,
and this is Long Beach.
Especially in Long Beach, right?
Long Beach is pretty liberal. I
Exactly.
was thinking, well, that's interesting.
Right.
That's
right.
different.
I mean, I feel like I just came out. I've never belonged to one side or the other. Like I said, this last election was the first time I ever really voted. I've always I still to this day kind of agree with things on both sides. I can't even fully say I'm for one side. It wasn't until I started seeing issues to where I was like, this doesn't seem right, is where when I do heavy nosedives, I do fucking nosedives. And I make sure, like, you know, I don't sound stupid. Well, I always sound stupid. But anyways, I mean, you know, oh God, I lost my train of thought. But either way, a lot of my friends don't side with me on things, great friends too. So I've always been quiet around them because to me, the friendship is worth way more. So I just stay quiet. I want to say I've been the most political vocally probably in the last 2.5 weeks than I've ever been my whole entire life. And it does feel good because I was expecting to get a lot of backlash and probably lose a good chunk of followers, but instead I've actually gained followers, and I've only had maybe 1 or 2 people disagree, and they've respectfully disagree. So I can't even say it was a fight. To be honest with you, a person who we went to grade school with reached out to me, and I spoke to her for a good while. She very much doesn't agree with my beliefs, but there was a few things that we did both agree on, and so on. The vaccine was one of them, as far as as hesitation, and she was saying how she's being treated now. She's losing a lot of friends who she believes in the same beliefs in, except for that, and she's lost a lot of friends for that. And it's like this is insane how much this is like overcome our lives and family and friends, like people who you thought had your back all this time, or like just what's wrong with understanding. It's not a cure, people. And just to real quick get back to numbers, because something that really pisses me off, the chick of the CDC, again, I don't even know if she knows her proper numbers. She's not a doctor, just in case people think she's a doctor.
She definitely is not.
She is not a doctor. And she was out again. I hate the fact that they're targeting kids the most in my mind, because that's what, I have kids. And so she was trying to compare this, like saying that like 3 times the amount of kids have passed away from COVID than the influenza.
What?
That is completely wrong. And I do have receipts to that, voice receipts of her saying stuff that I could share with you guys after. When I have numbers of 124, influenza is at least 400 plus. So it's like, how can you go and say that?
It looked like you were calculating the numbers, Jordan, when you looked up right now.
No. I was sorry. I was just listening intently to that.
It's all a scare tactic pretty much at this point.
Yeah.
So here, let me just, this is the craziest thing as far as the statistic that I find that like shocked me. Because I thought I was like, okay. Because I like diving into the numbers too. Because I feel like that's the only real thing we can hold, that's the only information that you can put out there that doesn't make it sound like it's just your feelings, right? Because I feel like everything's feelings now. It's how we feel, what you think,
We'll all be vaginas in 50 years.
Well, maybe. Maybe we will be. But either way, what I would encourage people is to get out there, and if you're going to make an argument for your stance, do some research on it. You know what I mean? Damn, I didn't hear what you said. Say it again.
No, she said, you said we're all going to be a bunch of vaginas. And I just looked at Sam and I was like, I like vagina.
Oh, yeah, dude. Nice. Well, then good, dude. It's all progressing towards a good way. No, where I was going with that is, I was just saying, like, encourage people to, like, sometimes, like, having discussions with people with opposing opinions is the best thing that can happen to you. Because one, it reinstates either what you believe, or maybe, just maybe, and hear me out, it's going to sound crazy, but talking with other people might actually change your own thought process on something.
But do you see how how that hurts you though? Because then that says that what you're thinking is wrong, and you've been thinking wrong this entire time.
People hate being wrong.
Exactly. Because if someone says something and you're like, dang, that sounds pretty good, then I mean, what have I been doing this whole time?
Well, then but that sucks if you can't take that and reapply it to your life. You know what I mean? Like, just because it's like, okay, look, if I've been thinking the wrong way, well then shit, man, I've been saying the wrong shit. That's embarrassing for me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I want, at least when something comes out of my mouth, like, I know, look, I'm not accurate all the time, but I like to think that I'm close, in the 75% success rate, right?
You're pretty freaking close, because I research sometimes, and you're pretty close.
There'll be some close ones, yeah. But no. Let me get back to that crazy stat number. So from 2019, right, the death toll in the world was exactly the same as the death toll in the world at the end of 2020. Oh. So
ironic.
So, and I'm not saying that things, and there's so many different things, right? Things can shift. things shift all the time. Everything's shifting, always moving. But the totals, right? So my very elementary thought process would be, if we had a pandemic that was worldwide, that's just zapping lives, right? Wouldn't that have a bigger like spike in the death toll for the entire annual death toll?
I would think so, yes.
So you're like, hey, well, then you're like, okay, well, people weren't going out as much. It's like, well, auto accidents don't account for that large of a death toll for the year, right? Or just going out, just like random injuries, things like that. We're talking about cardiac
suicide
events.
rate?
You know, medical issues, suicide rate, out this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like everything. There's like ebbs and flows of stuff, but to have something that was so impactful on a global scale to not change the amount of people who actually died, I found that to be fascinating.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, I was like, wow, okay, well, what the hell?
To go back though, where you were saying like people don't want to admit they're wrong. My own business partner, very hard lefter. I spoke to her recently, and it's like the same things, like really complaining. She does not like Newsom. She says she hopes he gets what he deserves. This is somebody from the other party.
Exactly.
Complains about the mandates, complains about the vaccines. And in my mind, I'm just sitting there looking at her like, this is your team, dude.
Right. So that's
This is what you voted for. I don't understand why you're complaining, but will not admit Biden's fucking up. Because I'm like, you do know he's backing all this. Is it that hard just to say, hey, look, maybe I was wrong, or maybe like I'm not saying I love Trump. I'm not saying that at all, because I really disliked him for like 90% of his term. It wasn't until I just felt like something wasn't adding up, and in my mind, I'm going to research my enemy. I'm not going to research who I'm going for. I'm going to research my enemy first. And as I started doing that, I started saying, well, this is actually not that bad. This is actually a good idea, actually. This is, like so many things come out, like the whole BLM thing, this. Well, actually, he's kind of done more for the Black community than people think. Like, like stuff like that all started adding up. And it's like, why do I dislike this man? Because he just talks rude?
because he's stupid sometimes. Right.
He's not presidential, right? He's a businessman.
You put him with like Obama's like front as far as speaking level.
Super president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But do you see how this takes using your brain?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have
People
to.
are lazy.
Right. And then what you said about like hyper leftist, she's like, she shouldn't come out of her little leftist hole to come to the middle. She can't do that because that's what her identity is. Mm-hmm. So if she steps out of that, then it's like, oh my God, I thought you were I'm a Democrat. I thought you were a leftist. You can't do that. And that's the problem with party. You have to, I'm not saying you have to, but you just automatically, if there's two sides, you're going to pick one, So, and then, but the whole discrepancy between Biden and Newsom is just stupid.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course she's going to say, well, Newsom, I mean, he's got to go. He's got to go. So I don't know. It's just,
I think it's,
party thing.
yeah, I agree with you. And I think it's cool that you had that conversation with an old friend over social media, but it also brings a good point. When's the last time most people have had a meaningful conversation with somebody on an issue that they disagreed with? Like, think about the times we're in, right? Social media has taken the forefront of everything. I remember asking a friend, hey, we don't hang out anymore. Oh, no, I catch up with you. I just look at your social media. I'm like, that's not catching up.
Somebody actually said that to you?
I swear to God, yeah.
Wow,
Someone said, I was like, oh.
They don't care.
Okay, yeah, you don't give a shit.
You don't give a shit. No.
So I'm trying to think of, like, besides maybe being at work, but when is the last time you had a conversation with someone where you didn't see eye to eye?
Right.
The art of the conversation is being lost. Everyone's stuck on social media, stuck on their phones. How many times do you call someone, they don't pick up, but you text them, they answer right away?
Right.
I fucking hate that.
Right.
So it starts with just having a conversation.
It's kind of me sometimes. But, yeah. But I mean, ever since I heard about you doing that, bro, I'm just like, yeah, man, I'm going to pick up the phone and call people.
You have to talk to people.
Of course.
That's where you find connection and community, is hearing the voice and talk with someone, not just over the phone, but seeing them face to face, right? That's why I like doing the podcast. How often do we get to sit here for an hour and a half and you actually talk with the people across from you and you have the headphones on? You can hear them like in your freaking brain.
Right.
Right? When's the last time you can really do that? It's just not happening often, right? I can't granted, this is kind of unique, right? It's a podcast, but having a conversation with people, it's just not there.
I think something that we don't talk about much is the fact that those conversations that are had that are sparking more and more, not division, but that where we disagree, those conversations are happening more and more with people that are inviting them. So with people that don't want them, of course, they're not happening. But like I'm starting to have more and more of these conversations, and I love these conversations, and they're happening more now that I'm like, not seeking them out, but the more that they're around me, the more I'm like, yes, this is good. I don't know if how you
I like
guys
how
feel.
you ask a lot of questions too when you do it.
Yes, because I like
Because
to.
we get deep in thought a lot.
Right. And because I like to ask questions so I can I receive that knowledge and then I process how I feel. And then I'm like, okay, well, this is how maybe I don't agree with myself. Because there's, we're just a constant dichotomy. So it's like, what am I doing with my life? So when we talk, it's constantly back and forth.
It's good. Look, man, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. To me, right is right and wrong is wrong. And they should be in there for the people, not to gain anything for themselves or push these wild fucking policies.
Exactly.
When a Democrat's in and doing great, I support them. Fuck yeah.
Right
on. But great job. When a Republican's in there doing great, fucking right on. Great job. But when either are in there and are not doing well, call it out. Call it like it is.
Exactly.
You're a fucking elected official.
Yep.
You work for us.
Yep.
We don't
Right.
fucking work for you.
Totally. And not to mention, you should fucking be doing great.
Right.
Right? This is why you were elected.
Right.
Whatever. It's like, and Sam, you touched on something that I think that is what learning is. Right?
Exactly.
Right? Because now it's like
And growth.
and a lot of times too, go back 50 years ago, right? There's no multimedia. It's just who you hang out with or how much you want it. So if you're going to school, if you're, got a job where there's a lot of people around you, whatever, there's all these other influences. The only way you can formulate your opinion is to talk about it.
Right.
Otherwise, look, there's always going to be like dumb people who are just be like, no, I believe this. That's it. Okay, cool. Right. Well, I'm probably not going to try to talk to you because you're like so narrow-minded, But I think that you have to have you have to be open to changing your own mind too. And that's why when I'm saying encourage people to if you're a strong believer in what you believe in and you feel like you're right, challenge yourself. Explain it to people why you think you are without it just being that I'm right because I said this or I read one thing about this. Get out there and take an extra minute if you're going to have such a strong, passionate point of view and be able to explain it logically to somebody. Almost like what I would encourage you to do is that if you believe super passionately about one thing, challenge yourself to be like, hey, if I have to explain this to someone who believes the complete opposite thing, how would I bring this up? How are you going to talk to that person?
That's a good point.
Because you're not going to scream at them because you're going to look crazy.
Right.
And that's what happens a lot of times with both ends of the party system.
Right.
One person sounds like a nut job. The other person sounds like a nut job. Okay, so now what? Right? How can you break that barrier? How do you talk to somebody with they may completely disagree with you, but at the end of the conversation, if they go, well, you know what? Fundamentally, some of the things they said made sense. That's that's not a win, but that's growth for both of you, right? Because you're be able to articulate that in a way, whereas if they bring something up too, you're probably gonna be like, okay, you know what? I see both ends of this. Because the answer again, it's always in the fucking middle.
Yeah.
It's always in the middle. There's a little bit of both. There's no right or wrong. There's no super there's no one way or the other, and that's what makes this tough.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you guys think the fix is? What needs to happen to unite people again? I don't want to say. I would love to see another 9/12, where everyone is gathered together. I mean, Congress saying "God bless America" on Capitol Hill on the steps. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I've never felt more comfortable with strangers.
Right.
Right.
Right. And it's I don't want to see a tragedy happen, but my thought is what is the fix for this? I'm just saying even state level with Newsom, where we're at right now, the recall, we're in interesting times, and California is an amazing place to live, but it's getting to a point where a lot of people are going to give up the amazing place to live to be in more freedom, to be able to have a better income come in because they're not being taxed to death. Yeah. So my thought is well, I can always I tell my mom, it's Mom, you can tell me your political beliefs and what you don't agree with, but why don't you give me a solution? What do you think a solution is? That's what my thought is. Like, what is the solution to all this madness? I don't know. I just want to see your guys' thoughts on that one.
You know, it's kind of sad on taxes, real quick. So, you know how we've kind of discussed like us going somewhere else or whatever like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, my whole thing is I want to financially be ready if we do end up doing that. My husband has a good job. He's looked into what he would be making in this other area if we go. It's a $15 cut an hour. $15 cut, which is a pretty
That's
big.
significant.
That's
out
a
here.
big
for California. Yeah.
cut. Wow. But we calculated the taxes difference. You know how much of a difference it is? $100 in his paycheck.
Wow.
$100 difference. That's it. I said, sign me up. Let's go.
Well, straight up right now, everything.
North Dakota?
No.
No, I would say right now, like the income I have coming in, I have to cut it in half.
Yeah.
Half that shit goes to taxes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, I've seen what I paid already in taxes. I'm like, I could fucking use that.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Daddy needs a new roof.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn, dude.
It's stupid, man.
I have a solution.
Go.
What is it, Jordan?
You're smiling.
No, because I mean, I guess I'm sure I can get picked apart with this one. But I think that what would help everything out, the problem is it can't be just for this state. It's got to be federally pushed. But I think doing a flat tax rate would be the biggest economic change that we can do for a society in the entire United States, more than anything else, that would impact us directly right now.
Oh, wow.
Because what a flat tax, for whatever, let's say we even did it at 10%, we'll use round numbers. Everyone's going to be paying 10%. So it doesn't matter how much you make. You can make $100 million. You can make $50,000 a year. It's 10%. Everyone's going home. Well, the only people that really affects are the super rich. It's the Jeff Bezos, because they're probably not paying really any taxes because they subsidize so many different things.
Right. 10% of $1 billion.
Damn.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that, okay, let's say if you make over $1 billion, now your flat rate is 2%, which still would be 1.5% more than they probably pay a year. Right. And that money, because I agree, I'm not saying that all the rich need to be taxed like crazy. I don't think that that's the answer, but I think that they can pay a fair share, which we can all pay a decent share. And if you did a flat tax rate, that's not talking about just your income. That's sales tax, that's income tax, that's state tax, that's everything. It's all 10%. You end up taking home more at the end of the year of what you would make, but it's also allowing everybody to pay into it. So even people that are making all their money under the table. You want to talk about like the big push is like, how many illegal citizens do we have here? They're not paying their fair share. I keep hearing that. And it's like, well, there's probably a lot of examples that, people who work under the table don't, and that's something that you can use that everyone's going to be paying back into the pot no matter what your status is. Right. So there's a lot of ways that you can look at that to say, hey, look, and I'm not saying 10% is the number. And the reason why I brought that up is because there was a guy, I think I've talked about this on here before, that Herman Cain. He was a Republican candidate during the first term of Obama that was trying to run. And he's the one who was talking about the flat tax rate. And he said that at 9% flat tax rate, we can cut our deficit by half in the next 3 years.
Wow.
And that was so what? That was 2006 or 8. I forgot when the first term was. Anyway, so it all is relative because it's ever changing. But I also think that would be something that, if we aggressively look like that, we can essentially handle a lot of our debt issues and be able to allocate money towards our, statewide problems. And I'm sure everything could be tweaked in between. But, you brought up the homeless issue. What the hell are we doing in this state? I haven't seen nothing. Right. And I'm not talking too much about what I do, but I really haven't seen anything affect anything in a positive manner.
Hundreds of millions of dollars have been raised to fight the homeless issue, and it's gotten worse.
There's tent cities popping up everywhere.
Incredible. Have you guys been to LA recently?
Yeah, it's crazy.
No. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's disgusting.
Jordan, I have a question.
Go.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
What's up, dude?
So, with this ever-changing, economy and like the businesses that are popping up and entrepreneurs, like the entrepreneur spirit is like growing like at a huge rate in our time. Do you think that flat rate would be pushed more now or less? Or not now, but as we progress into the future, Because I mean, of course, there's always the Jeff Bezos and Tesla and everything like that. But
those are outliers.
Those are outliers, right? But there are more and more people that are growing, and making their own name, their own business, and they're starting to make money. You know? So,
to the short answer of that is, I think that if that was a stronger push for this next generation that's coming up through that entrepreneurship or small business owners, if you said, look at us, if you said to me, like, hey, by the way, your business is only going to be taxed at 10%. 10%, that's it. That's federal, state. That's what you have to pay. And you get to make, you're not paying back all those things at the end of the year, right? It's just, so I'm basically making 25% more on the end of the year. And everyone's paying their amount into the system. It's like guaranteed, and you get rid of the IRS essentially too.
I asked that because that was my guess. My guess is that, you get rid of, everybody pays the same.
Yeah.
You too, Danielle.
I didn't think about that. No, getting rid of the IRS?
I didn't think about it either.
Because there's no more need for the audit. There's no more need. You are paying everything that you're purchasing is already getting paid. It's 10%. It's the tax rate. Everything's 10%. Or let's say it's 7 or 8 or 9, whatever. Whatever that number is. But effectively, you can adjust that to the point that one, you're going to make way more money for yourself that you're going to get in your pocket, and then everyone's going to be contributing their fair share, no matter what, if it's legal citizenship or if you're, on the lower end of the spectrum or the higher end of the spectrum. Now, when you talk, and it's always like, well, what are you going to do about all the rich people? Well, I hate to break it to everybody, but, there isn't that many people, in at least the state of California, that have more than $300 million. I mean, it's a very small amount of people. So if you want to make sure that the Bezos, the Tesla, the whatever, to keep them in your state, right? Because at this point, it's technically irrelevant, but maybe however you want to work the system, that you work something out with them to where instead of paying no percent, they're paying half, 1, whatever that is. It was 1% of $1 billion a year. That's more than I'm sure they're paying into it right now.
Right.
Now with that, you can also move restrictions and things like that to allow their business to grow even more, right? Because everything's give and take, But I think there's a lot of possibilities of things out there, but just nothing happens.
Right.
Because it's not the focus. The focus is what's the problem this week, and then we're as soon as something comes out, we're like, hey, look, we don't like how that went. We're going to move this one over here,
right?
Because it's always changing. The homeless situation is an issue. It still will be an issue, and until we come up with an idea, which unfortunately, in my opinion, would be some sort of nicer version of an institution to get people off the streets, to at least give them safety because they can't fend for themselves or think correctly, or you give them the opportunity to basically learn how to provide for themselves, and then you start charter programs to get them in jobs.
I wonder if they're treating these people, because I highly doubt these homeless are going and getting vaccinated. So wouldn't they be dying too?
I know some have. Didn't they? I think they're, some have.
Well, anyways, Jordan 2024.
I like that.
I have no way. That would be the craziest shit ever. I would never want to be like that. I can't be. I'm not a politician.
I would totally sport you on a shirt.
Oh, thanks.
Can I be your Secretary of State?
You'd be whatever you want, dude. Just pick a spot,
I don't even know what the Secretary of State even does, but it sounds awesome.
I think you're like the Secretary of the State, and then
Isn't she the one that
controls the military? Basically,
she. I'm
sorry.
It could be a man or a woman.
I'm thinking. I'm sorry. It hit me. I'm thinking of. No, I'm thinking of that.
Sam, whoever's best for the job, bud. That's how I'm gonna run it. Don't care.
Exactly.
Do not care.
Oh man.
No, I'm glad we talked about all this. It's always a tough subject amongst people, but I'm glad we hit on it. I think it needs to be talked about because I've never seen a country so divided. We're all around the same age. It's a really interesting time to be alive, and I do miss what happened on September 11th, with which we just celebrated, was terrible. But something also great came from it. I always think that beauty can come from ashes, and what we saw from that was a country probably the most united I'd have ever seen in my entire lifetime. 9-12. You have Sammy Sosa running the bases with the American flag and everyone cheering. There was one person sitting down. Kneeling. Everyone was given a full respect for that, dude. The president who went down to ground zero talking to the firefighters and the police, dude.
Right.
Encouraging them, being with them. Let them know I'm here. I'm backing you. I mean, there's so many tales of just the unity that came from that. And 20 years later, it's like we're the most divided I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's sad. I think it sucks. We're supposed to be, we're a destination nation.
Yep.
People lose their lives trying to get here.
Yep.
Lose their fucking lives trying to get here. Their family, their kids, all that stuff. And now it's like, well, if we're going to come here and lose freedom, why the fuck are we coming here?
Exactly.
I remember there was a guy, it was an MMA fighter. Was it Masvidal?
Oh, the guy from Cuba.
Yeah, he talked about
actually,
it was a really good speech. But anyways, all I have to say is just I would love I hope one day, and I really, to me, where there's life, there's hope. There's always going to be hope. I just hope that we get connected and back on the same page and united and not so whatever that is, I don't know. I don't have an answer. But I think it takes people listening, not being selfish, not being freaking hard-headed, being open, talking. That's what it takes. Sometimes you got to have those rough conversations. It sucks. It is what it is.
It's a simple research too.
Come on,
a lot of
man.
this is not hard, and that's why I'm like, what more do you need to see? Because this isn't being hidden, and that's the thing, is a lot of things aren't being hidden, and it's still like, what more do you need? Like I think another 9/11 has to happen to open people's eyes.
So I kind of agree with it. You know, like the whole 9/12 aspect is huge, but I think that like 9/12 happens, and then 9/13, and then there's the next year, and people forget. People not forget, but they're just like, I got so many other things going on in my life. I'm just like, what you're saying is perfect, bro. But I'm just like, damn, man. Like,
How do you keep that fire alive, right?
The fire needs to stay alive, and long term, that takes listening and growth and evolution and conversation and things like this, where you're not afraid to be like, oh, maybe I wasn't thinking straight. The past doesn't matter how many years.
Well, so the problem is we become soft.
Exactly.
Straight up, dude.
Straight up.
People could say toxic masculinity, whatever the fuck you want to say. We've become a very soft nation.
Yep.
And what you see happening in the world right now are superpowers making moves to become the greatest nation like we are.
Yep.
I don't think people know this. China has fucking like 4 destroyers off Alaska right now?
Yep. That's crazy.
I had no idea.
I know a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, 4 fucking destroyers off the coast of Alaska right now.
That sucks, Tim.
Which, oh no, right? But people don't understand. That's actually a big deal. That's not fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Russia's making all these countries that want to be superpowers realize we have weak leadership. We are wounded as a nation. We're divided. My thought is, coming from a military family, even talking with my father about it, that's probably one of the best times to try and make a move and do an attack.
Yep.
Okay. My God. You're right. You're all right. No, you are right. But look, I'll say this. Before I give up on everything, as far as like having any I just don't trust humanity and self. No, I shouldn't say don't trust, but definitely just kind of sad. It's sad. Because I feel like as a society we are getting weaker. We're losing, and I don't mean weaker like physically. I mean we're losing the ability to have these conversations, to make a viewpoint and stand with it, whatever that means. And I'm not saying whoever's viewpoint is right or wrong. I just mean like in general, right? We're kind of like, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, and which is okay, kind of, but not, at the same time. But when it comes to us being able to defend ourselves as United States citizens or people just living here, I really feel like when push comes to shove, if, let's say something crazy went down, let's say they try to attack the United States, I think that the reason why we will not let that happen is because we have the right to bear arms as a society. True. There are a lot of people out here that have weapons that can skillfully defend themselves. And then there's a lot of idiots that have guns that don't know what the fuck they're doing too. But the difference with that is it changes everything tactically. You can't run into an area knowing that people are armed to be able to attack a different. Now, essentially, if they nuked the entire United States, we'd all be dead. But that's not part of the plan, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure that's not. Because, right, you're gaining power. You want to take over. It would be legendary to try. But I don't think that as a state, or as a country, even though we're super divided on a lot of shit, I think if that were to happen, that would be the September 12th in times of 1 billion, right? We would actually have to fight together. Oh, you know what I mean? And I hope that never happens. I hope we can just continue on our lives just bitching about stuff and blah, 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 blah. Because that is true war. War is hell. You know what I mean? And not that I have any experience in that, but just, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's crazy. But I do think if that ever happened, You know, if fucking China wants to pull up and start rushing us, I think we'll fuck them up straight up.
All the
He said,
veterans,
"Pull up."
all the veterans we got in this freaking
Pull up.
country, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I think the ace man nailed it though. In 50 years, we'll all be vaginas, and we're very much on our way there. So that's my 2 cents.
Sick.
There we go.
Well, hey, we're towards the end of this podcast, dude. Let's do 2 questions, man.
All right.
Oh God, we didn't get to talk about Brittany. Oh well.
No, we're gonna save it for the end of the month.
And your shirt.
Save it for the end of the
Dang, I'm
month.
wearing
baby.
my shirt on
It's
the wrong
great, though.
day though.
Get it, loser. We're free Brittany. No, I love it. It's freaking awesome.
All right. So you want to do here? We'll do 3. Yeah, we'll do 3. Just make it quick. The first one's easy. What's better, being a cowboy or a pirate?
Danny?
I love cowboys. I think they're the sexiest thing in the world.
Really?
Oh yes.
A fucking cowboy?
Chris.
Oh God,
She's like
you
farm
have.
person.
Right.
Dude. Of course
You
she's a
have-
cowboy.
Person. Farm. She's like farm person. I love that.
I
Well, you did
think
4-H and
cowboys
stuff.
are
Like, you're-
the
no
sexiest
doubt. I knew
men
that was
ever.
going
Okay,
that
so
way.
what is it? What is it about farmers then? What specifically?
One,
Is it?
I need to get you on a farm because I do not see you lasting at all.
Okay,
Damn, why do you go there?
dude,
But-
fucking hey, hold on.
wasn't even a question.
Yeah,
I know.
Tim, speak,
you have
bro.
no idea.
Speak.
I work hard.
I know.
Like physically hard.
I know, but
I didn't start working in a
when
fucking
animals-
office. So I'm like, what
I
the
don't know
fuck are
what
you talking about?
She goes there quick. You
When-
wouldn't last.
I know. I'm like, dude, shit on somebody else for once. Jesus Christ.
I saw how high you jumped when you saw my small snake. So let me just.
I'm not
let's
gonna have
put-
a fucking snake on my farm.
Ooh, boy, you've never been on a farm. So
Ask the next question. Then
I'm
we'll
just
move on to
saying.
the shit.
Okay,
Oh, no, bro.
Can I answer?
go ahead.
I
mean-
I'd rather be a pirate.
Pirate.
Why?
I don't know. It just seems like a crazy lifestyle.
So I was gonna choose pirate, but I'd rather. I don't want to be on the water all the
yeah,
time.
but dude, in the Caribbean, cruising around.
That'd be
It's gotta
dope,
be
man.
fun,
And
dude.
then
I'm
just
assuming
taking
it's
over,
rad.
right? And then just taking over ships. That's dope.
I just feel like being a cowboy. I guess it can be current though. I don't know. Is that the thing? Is
I
it
just-
current? Like, are we currently? Because yes, cowboy probably safer. Pirate, I think it's probably not-
I would say
yeah,
life
yeah.
expectancy. Well, I don't know.
But I'm saying
I don't
going
know.
back, like pirate days. You know what I mean? Like Long John Silver and shit. I don't want to run at that. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's
You guys
scary.
ever watch Black Sails? The show.
No.
Oh my God! Do
Black
you like
Sails?
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
The
Okay,
movie,
is it
kinda?
Disney? Is it
But
Disney?
it's like a rated R version with more boobs.
Dope.
It's a good
Oh.
show.
Yeah.
So it's not Disney.
No. No, it's very intense.
Oh.
But it's rad, and it makes me want to be a pirate.
Looking it up.
Yeah.
My man.
Anyway.
Black Sails?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to see it.
We're looking that up.
Shout out.
Sam, wait, did you answer, Sam?
I like
said
the.
pirate,
I really
didn't you?
like. No, I said cowboy,
I
but
could
I
see
mean,
you in some boots.
right, man. Yeah.
But it's not just about wearing the boots.
Is it because of my white boots?
True. It's not about the boots.
It's not about the tire. It's like the actual things you have to do. Like I think people totally underestimate cowboys, or like,
Oh, yeah.
or underrate them. Sorry, underrate what they do on a daily basis. It's fucking gnarly. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna throw out a documentary, but even then, I'm kind of like, oh, there's a lot more to it than just that documentary too. So, I guess you have to live it. I don't know. I've seen people kind of say the same thing, and they've gone and they've lasted barely 2 hours. So that's why I'm just like, it's way. Not saying that your work isn't hard, because definitely I could not do what you guys do.
Being a pirate.
No, well,
Being
no,
a pirate.
no, but
man.
being what you guys do,
No, I was just saying, like, I started fire service in the Forest Service. I worked like wildland. That shit is the hardest fucking work you'll ever do in your entire life for the lowest fucking pay. I mean, you're hiking hills with hose for fucking weeks.
Well, yeah.
MREs and shit. I was like,
You
dude,
guys
what
are
the hell did I get myself into?
Beast.
The labor part, I get. The labor part, I totally would have faith in you. I mean, you're gross. You run like 1,000,000 miles just for fun. But I mean, like, I'm talking about like the animal aspect, like dealing.
wrangling
Yes,
cattle.
that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
because
You
of
don't
that
know
snake.
until you try, dude.
of that
I mean, you got grossed out when I poked your dog's, like, I don't know.
I know, but dude,
little
you're talking about a situation
skin
in my
tag.
home. If I'm on a farm, I mean, dude, I'll get dirty. I mean, I don't give a shit. You're talking about in my house. I'm like, I'm not gonna own some fucking python if I'm not gonna stick my finger in my dog's ass. I mean, We're on a farm. If what needs to be done, needs to be done, dude.
How much cooler does a pirate sound? They're like,
It sounds
hey, let's
way
get
cooler,
drunk and go
dude.
raid that village. Maybe we'll meet some cool people, take some shit. It'll be cool.
That's dope.
And they're like, They're like, it sounds bad, plundering, right? It's stealing, essentially.
What's your next question, by the way?
Oh, anyway. Sorry, I'll go into my dissertation about the pirate life.
You would have kept going.
I was like, there's an island where pirates are buried, actually.
It's a
too,
life
but,
for you, Jordan.
It is. It might have been.
Yo-ho, baby.
Okay, this one's kind of silly, but would you rather be Magic Johnson with AIDS or a regular dude with no AIDS?
That is so fucked up.
Or dudette?
How much treatment does he still have to do? What do you think?
Magic
Like,
Johnson,
how often?
none.
Does it matter?
No, he's not. Wait, how much is he worth? That's
Right.
terrible. Never mind.
Shit. ton.
I'm going down a
300
wrong
plus-
route right
300
now.
plus million.
Exactly. Definitely Magic Johnson.
Oh my God, he's way up there money wise.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
And he looks great.
Right.
So
Aging well.
Man.
I'd be Magic Johnson.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I was
Okay.
like, I'm pretty sure the AIDS isn't holding him back any way, shape, or
Right.
form. So
Yep.
I'm just gonna just say it. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yep.
Magic Johnson. I'm going to agree with her.
All right. Speaking of which, now you're Magic Johnson. Okay, you're worth 300. No, I'm just kidding. This one says, if you won 300 million, what are the first three things that you would buy?
Wait, what? What was that again?
So you're like, now you have $300 million. Congratulations, you just won. What are the first three things that you're gonna buy?
Pay off all my family's debt and buy people some homes.
That's two. Okay, what's the third thing?
I'd invest. And then I'd also donate a lot of it.
You guys, and your sensible answers.
I would.
I'm gonna save the world and donate to a lot of charity. Help the kids, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. Am I answering?
I'm looking at you.
Go.
Oh, okay, yeah. I would probably do the exact same
Yeah.
thing. I'd have a very boring answer. I'd be a very fundamentally sound rich person, I feel like.
I feel like a lot of people would come up if I came up.
But instead of the third one, yeah, totally. It's like basically help everyone around me. And then I would somehow figure out to make a nonprofit foundation to help off paying off everyone I know's homes. So every year I would just pay off a new home, but
talked about that.
you'd be utilizing that as a write-off also.
Right.
Because you're going to need to be able to move that money around. So you funnel into your nonprofit, you help out your friend, and then
Hey, dude,
everybody
Clintons do
wins. Yeah. But you just do it in a nicer way.
Yeah, we're not going to
Because why would you just pick them? You're like, well, they're my fucking friend. You know what I mean? So I'm just helping out the system and my friend. Why not?
Right.
But then I would for sure buy I just buy houses. That's so weird. That's where I'm at in life right now.
I'd buy a
If
lot
I'm
of
I'm going to be a
property.
super rich person. I was like, I'm buying property all
Yeah.
over the place.
Right.
I was like, I'm definitely going to go tropical, maybe a desert spot, mountain area for sure. I don't know.
You gonna buy Cage's old island?
Oh, yeah, that's right. He has an island.
He had.
Had an island.
Yeah.
Okay, but did he have property? Did he actually build property on it? Because the last I looked,
I don't think so.
it was just an island.
Yeah.
It was legit island. That deserted island.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it in a cool area or was
That's
it just
Bahamas somewhere.
Oh, okay.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Huh.
I would get a CPA immediately.
Of course.
Fucking immediately.
Right.
Line me out, bro.
Yeah.
I need this to last at least 3 generations.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like, no problem, Mr.
Yeah.
Fisher. We can set you up off of about $6 million a year. Can you do that cash? You'd say yes. I can.
Hell yeah,
then
dude.
I'd say peace, and I'd run out the door naked.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
I think I would pay off some of my family's debt, not all,
Yes.
just some. And then the rest of it, I don't know. I have no fucking clue,
Some?
dude.
God,
Yeah, I couldn't do my whole family, bro. I fucking love them, but not all of them.
Okay.
They'll keep coming, man.
Fucking love you guys, but not
keep
all.
coming.
Oh, they'll always fuck yeah,
Always
oh,
there.
yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
bro.
that's true. I guess.
Yeah, man.
Third, I don't know.
I feel that way about some of my family members that I should be giving some. I just feel like I'll get you a home and that's it. There you go.
Yeah, maybe I'll get you
I'll give you
started.
shelter.
Right.
There you go. You're on your
But
own.
we all know once you get that type of like fuck you money, you're gonna have people who are they're gonna come off 23andMe and Ancestry.com. Well, I'm related to you. Can you give me? It's like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Just real quick, I want to add something to the third item.
Sure.
I want in every property that I buy, out of all of them, that they're going to have a drinking fountain that's going to be Yoo-Hoo. because I fucking love Yoo-Hoo.
I haven't had you. When's the last time you had
random.
Probably like a year ago.
Oh,
It's
really?
been a while, but
Yeah.
it's normally because if I see it in a store, I'll get it. I
That's
love
dope.
it. Like I don't know. Like I drank it a lot when I was a kid. So
I have a grocery list by our door when we first walk in, and my son always writes Yoo-Hoo on there.
no shit.
you? That's dope.
Fucking got good taste,
Yeah.
dude. Good taste.
Laffy Taffy.
Laffy Taffy.
Laffy Taffy.
Cupboards full of Laffy Taffy.
Yeah,
Really?
man.
Dude, that's bomb
Cupboards,
too.
yeah.
Yes.
I'd go with Abba Zaba on that one if we were going
Dude.
that type.
Skittles.
Okay,
Skittles.
Skittles.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the one place you can find an Abba around here, Smart and Final, or as I say, Fart and Smile.
Fart and smile.
Yeah, that's the only place that sells Abba.
I'm sorry. Wasn't an exaggerated laugh. That was a good one. Fart and smile.
I always tell them, I'm gonna go to Fart and Smile. I get like, what? Like, Smart and Final.
It's legit.
I love
Fart
that,
and Smile.
bro.
But anyways, Sam, Danielle, Jordan, thank you for coming on and talking about the recall and some political stuff. It's not the most sexy thing to talk about, but they need to be heard.
Special edition episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you ever come on a podcast, don't cancel last minute. You'll never be asked fucking on here again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put that out there right
I know who you is.
Yeah, you cancel last minute, you're done, dude.
Yeah.
But anyways,
No, that was fun. That was good. Yeah, hit that bell. No, I think
This is why I'm always 10 minutes early. I give Tim my ETA every
trying to be all serious with the send off. No, I'm glad we talked about what we had the opportunity for. And like I said, things happen, things changed up, but we're able to rebound and set things up like this. I think they're good. I think with the material that we cover is interesting, or should be. At least I feel like it is.
absolutely.
But and a lot of things, we get to, we all get to put in our perspectives of stuff, whether we're right or wrong. This is what it is about. So if anyone's listening, you hating on it, well, fucking hate on it.
Don't listen.
But no, I
We don't fucking
encourage
need you.
Hey, no, in fact, listen to all of them. Please leave a review. I don't give a shit, positive or negative, but I would challenge you again, come on the show. Let's have a conversation about it.
Yes,
you know what
there
I mean?
you go.
Like,
Come on.
It's all
down with
good,
that.
man. Like
Right.
that's how we learn. Because we all can be fucking wrong for that matter.
Jim Acosta, come on, babe.
We could.
I would love to have Jim Acosta. on here.
good. Oh my god.
He's a weirdo. But I'd like to talk
looks
to
like
him.
the kid
I'd
who's
like
picked on
I'd
all the
like
time.
to talk to him about it though. He's probably got some cool things to say.
Or what about dropping it in the DMs if you want to hear a topic? Here are
Yes.
our ideas, thoughts, suggestions on a topic, whether you think it's one that we would go with or not. I think it's a good idea because then one, it gives us a little ways to think.
I love it.
Like maybe you don't think we think about that, but maybe we do, maybe we don't, and then we end up learning something from it. So I would say feel free to drop a DM on ideas if you have one.
I think it's a great idea. Let's Go Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. Let's Go.podcast. Hit us up. Leave a DM. Broads Unfiltered. It's also another cool one to follow. Fucking hilarious.
Hell
You
yeah.
posted something today. I forgot to repost it. It was this afternoon.
Which one was
God dang it. It was so good.
I could look it up right
Yes, it was so freaking good.
because I have some hits right now, so that might even be on that one. I know. Oh, was it it was Kourtney Kardashian. Is that one? Kourtney
Yes.
Kardashian and
In the
Megan Fox.
restroom.
And I dropped a Seinfeld line. Can you spare a square?
I don't know the Seinfeld reference.
I just killed the vibe.
Oh, yeah. I saw
Well,
that
some
one.
people look like they got it.
I didn't get it, but it looked dope.
Yeah, I was like, it just looked funny.
I'm a huge Seinfeld fan, so I could pretty much quote everything from every
Oh,
episode
my
on there.
God. Well, guys, again, thanks for coming on. Let's get a Let's Go on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go.
Bye, everybody. And that's it. Thank you for listening in, everybody. I'd like to thank our sound engineer who makes this podcast happen and makes us sound very good, Stephen Clark. And to our first sponsor, 89 Barbers. Look good, feel good, be great. Come get your haircut at 2 locations, Long Beach and in Orange, California. Your appointment can be booked at 89barbers.com. That is BARBRERS. 89barbers.com. Again, look good, feel good, be great. Check it out. It's my barber. He is the man. Thanks, everybody. Bye.